From the moment the United States emerged as a global power, one idea has remained constant in the minds of both allies and adversaries. When America decides that a line has been crossed, geography becomes irrelevant. Borders lose meaning. Distance stops being protection. According to U.S. officials, the operation that led to the capture of Nicolás Maduro was not an act of impulse, but the culmination of months of intelligence work, strategic planning, and silent preparation. To many Americans, it stood as a reminder of something deeply ingrained in national identity, that American power is not loud by accident, but precise by design. For years, Nicolás Maduro had remained beyond the reach of international justice, protected by political alliances, internal security forces, and the assumption that no foreign power would dare to intervene directly. But beneath the surface, U.S. intelligence agencies were reportedly building a detailed picture of his movements, his security protocols, and the internal dynamics of the Venezuelan regime. Officials later described an intelligence effort that unfolded quietly, relying on human sources, surveillance, and long-term analysis rather than sudden escalation. This was not a mission designed for headlines. It was designed for results. As the months passed, American planners reportedly rehearsed every possible scenario. Training exercises were conducted in environments meant to replicate Venezuelan terrain and infrastructure. Intelligence assessments were reviewed and revised repeatedly. The objective, according to U.S. sources, was clear: minimize collateral damage, avoid prolonged military engagement, and execute a focused operation that demonstrated capability without descending into chaos. This level of preparation reflected a broader American doctrine that true power lies not in speed alone, but in patience and control. When the operation was finally set in motion, it unfolded with the kind of coordination that has become synonymous with elite U.S. forces. While official details remain limited, American authorities confirmed that special operations units played a central role, supported by intelligence agencies that had spent months shaping the battlefield before a single move was made. The emphasis, officials said, was on precision. This was not a show of force meant to intimidate civilians or destabilize the region indiscriminately. It was a targeted action aimed at a specific individual, under specific conditions, at a specific moment. The capture of Nicolás Maduro marked a turning point not only for Venezuela, but for the message the United States projected to the world. Shortly after being taken into custody, Maduro was transferred out of the country and flown to the United States. His arrival in New York symbolized more than a legal process. It symbolized the reach of American justice beyond its own borders. For many Americans, this moment reinforced a long-standing belief that accountability does not end at national lines when global stability is at stake. U.S. officials emphasized that the operation was conducted under presidential authorization and framed within broader national security concerns. According to statements released after the mission, American leadership viewed Maduro not simply as a foreign head of state, but as a figure tied to criminal networks, narcotics trafficking, and regional instability. In that context, supporters of the operation argued that inaction would have signaled weakness, while decisive action reaffirmed leadership. To them, this was not intervention for its own sake, but enforcement of principles the United States has long claimed to defend. The global reaction was swift and deeply divided. Some governments and international organizations raised concerns over sovereignty and precedent, warning that such actions could reshape international norms. Others remained cautious, choosing diplomatic language while closely watching how events would unfold. Inside the United States, however, the reaction among many citizens was markedly different. To them, the operation represented competence, resolve, and the effectiveness of institutions often criticized, but rarely understood in moments of success. For supporters, the mission echoed past operations that defined American military and intelligence history, moments where planning, discipline, and execution aligned to achieve objectives once thought impossible. It reinforced the idea that American power is not merely about military hardware, but about coordination between intelligence, leadership, and elite personnel trained to operate under extreme pressure. In an era where influence is often questioned, this operation served as a reminder that capability still matters. As Maduro entered the American justice system, attention shifted from the battlefield to the courtroom. Legal experts debated the implications, the charges, and the precedent such a case might set. But for many Americans, the symbolism overshadowed the technicalities. The image of a once untouchable leader, now answering to U.S. law, resonated deeply with a national narrative, built on accountability and rule of law, even when applied beyond domestic borders. The operation also sent a clear signal to other actors on the world stage. According to analysts, it demonstrated that the United States retains not only the capacity to act globally, but the willingness to do so when it believes its interests and principles align. It reminded allies of American reliability and reminded adversaries that assumptions of immunity can be dangerous. In that sense, the mission was as much psychological as it was operational. History will debate the legality, the morality, and the long-term consequences of this operation for years to come. That debate is inevitable and in many ways necessary. But regardless of perspective, the facts remain. A months-long intelligence effort, executed with precision, resulted in the capture of a sitting leader and his transfer to the United States without descending into prolonged conflict. Few nations possess the capability, coordination, and confidence to attempt such a mission, and even fewer can carry it out successfully. For Americans watching from home, this moment tapped into something older than politics and deeper than headlines. It tapped into a belief in national competence, in institutions that function when called upon, and in a country that still sees itself as a decisive actor in a complex world. Whether one views the operation as controversial or courageous, it undeniably reinforced a core element of American identity. When the United States commits, it does so with purpose, reach, and the confidence that comes from power tempered by planning. In the end, this operation may be remembered not just for who was captured, but for what it revealed. It revealed a nation capable of patience in an age of impatience, precision in a world of chaos, and action backed by preparation rather than impulse. For many Americans, that is a source of pride, a reminder that beneath political noise and global uncertainty, the machinery of American power remains intact, disciplined, and ready. If you want to understand American achievement, this is the place.